Use headphones for a better experience.
What if I told you there's a house that's alive? Not in the way you think, but alive enough to follow you. It doesn't move with wheels or legs, and it doesn't make noise. It just appears. Closer each time, until it's too late. I thought it was a local legend, a creepy story for bored teenagers. But now, as I sit in the dim light of my hotel room, writing this, I know it's real. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. I only hope the house never decides to follow you. It started with a dare. My friend group had a tradition. Every Halloween, we'd push each other to do something stupid. This year, the challenge was simple. Find the Pale House, a house that's never in the same place twice, and take a selfie in front of it. The legend says the Pale House appears in random spots, a park, an alley, even by highways. It's an abandoned white house, slightly crooked, with no lights or signs of life. You'd think it was just another decrepit building, but locals claimed it was different. They said if you find it, you should never go inside. If you do, the house will start following you. I was skeptical, of course. So when my turn came, I grabbed my flashlight and started searching. It was almost midnight when I found it, tucked behind a row of trees in the local park. There it was, an old white two-story house with peeling paint and a sagging roof. I laughed. "This is it," I said to myself. I pulled out my phone and snapped a selfie. Done. But as I turned to leave, I felt something, like being watched. I glanced back. The house looked the same, but something felt off. I hurried home, brushing off the eerie feeling as my imagination. The next day, things started getting strange. As I walked to work, I spotted it again, the Pale House. This time, it was on a quiet street corner that I passed every day. "Impossible," I whispered. "Houses don't just move." I tried to convince myself it was a coincidence, but as the days went on, it kept appearing. Near my office, across from the grocery store, even down the block from my apartment. Always the same house. I told my friends about it. They laughed, assuming it was a prank or my mind playing tricks. One of them, Jake, even offered to visit the house with me to prove it wasn't haunted. That night, we went together. The Pale House was waiting for us, now perched eerily on the edge of a cul-de-sac. Its broken windows and sagging roof looked worse in the moonlight. "You see?" I whispered. Jake smirked. "It's just a creepy house. You're overthinking." Before I could stop him, he stepped inside. I waited outside, heart racing. Minutes passed. "Jake?" I called. No response. I inched closer to the doorway, flashlight trembling in my hand. "Jake, come on!" Then I heard it, a low creak followed by footsteps. Jake emerged, pale as a ghost, clutching something in his hand, an old photograph. "Look," he whispered, holding it up. The photo showed two children standing in front of the Pale House, but the boy on the left, he looked exactly like Jake. Jake didn't say much after that. He refused to explain what happened inside and left without another word. The next morning, his apartment was empty. No sign of him. His phone went straight to voicemail, and the house, it was gone. For a moment, I thought maybe it had stopped. But that night, as I walked past the park, my blood ran cold. The Pale House was back, and this time the door was wide open. I tried to ignore it. I stayed at a hotel, deleted social media, even considered moving to another city. But no matter where I went, the house always found me. Sometimes it would be blocks away, other times right across the street. One night, it appeared directly outside my window. Desperate, I decided to confront it. Armed with nothing but my flashlight, I approached the house and stepped inside. The air was thick, like the house was holding its breath. Every floorboard groaned under my weight, and the walls seemed to pulse with a faint, unnatural light. In the living room, I found a table with dozens of old photographs. Each showed people standing in front of the house. At the end of the table was a blank frame. I realized too late that it was meant for me. The door slammed shut behind me. I don't remember how I escaped, only that I woke up on the sidewalk, clutching the same photograph Jake had found. Now, wherever I go, I see them, others like me. people with haunted eyes who know the house. We exchange brief, knowing glances before looking away, as if acknowledging it makes it worse. The pale house doesn't care about logic or distance. It follows you patiently until you make the mistake of going back inside. And when you do, you're never seen again. They say curiosity killed the cat, but in our world of constant dares, challenges, and clout chasing, it might just kill us too. Some doors are better left unopened, some places left undiscovered. If you ever see the pale house, don't stop, don't stare, and whatever you do, don't go inside.
Don't miss out on the scares. Go subscribe to the channel for terrifying stories, legend breakdowns, and more. Bell turn on notifications and experience horror like never before.